Kira stood at the observation deck on her massive starship, looking down at the blue planet called Earth. She heard many stories about this world from the travelers who visited her home world of Zelthoria. Kira was not just any Zelthorian, she was the only daughter of High Commander Varex, ruler of 7 star systems. Her silver skin shimmered under the artificial lights. Her large amethyst eyes blinked slowly as she contemplated her mission: establish diplomatic relations and return home to marry Prince Zorex from the neighboring empire. Her second-in-command, Lara, approached with a data screen. Your father expects daily reports. Kira, do not forget your duty to our people. Kira nodded without emotion, as was proper for Zelthorians' feelings were considered a weakness, a primitive trait they had evolved beyond. Yet sometimes when alone, Kira wondered what it might be like to express joy or sadness as other species did. The ship landed quietly in a remote desert location outside a small town called Pinewood. Humans were still not ready for full contact, but their leaders had agreed to secret meetings to prepare for eventual revelation. Kira disguised herself to appear human, her silver skin now a warm tan, her height reduced by 20% and her eyes changed to brown. She would still stand out as unusually beautiful but not alien. She stepped from the hidden ship wearing simple human clothes, a white blouse and blue jeans. The fabric felt strange against her skin. Zelthorians wore only synthetic materials designed for maximum efficiency. Not comfort, Kate. Mason stood waiting at the agreed meeting point. Her government vehicle parked nearby. She had been briefed about the visitor, but nothing prepared her for the strange feeling of meeting someone not from Earth. Kate had short red hair, green eyes, and a smile that made Kira curious. Humans showed emotions so openly unlike her people. Their first meeting was awkward. Kate extended her hand in greeting, and Kira stared at it confused. It's a handshake. Kate explained, we do it when we meet someone. Kira attempted the gesture, her grip too firm. Kate winced but smiled anyway. Welcome to Earth, Your Highness, though. I guess we should use a different title while you're here. Just Kira is fine on your world. I am simply a visitor. Kate nodded and opened the car door. Let me show you where you'll be staying. We have a house prepared away from town, private but comfortable. The drive gave Kira her first close view of Earth, the desert landscape slowly giving way to scattered homes and businesses. Humans moved about their daily lives unaware of the alien observer. In their midst, Kira recorded everything with her enhanced senses to include in reports. The safe house was a small cottage surrounded by tall trees. A stream ran nearby. The sound of running water filled the air. Kira stood listening, her head tilted. Is something wrong? Kate asked. No. Kira replied, it is just different on Zelthoria. We control all water systems. Nothing flows freely like this. Kate smiled. You'll find many things here aren't controlled. That's kind of our thing. Freedom is important to humans. Sometimes messy but important. Kira did not understand but nodded politely. Over the next few days, Kate showed Kira basic human customs, how to prepare simple meals, how to operate appliances, how to dress appropriately for different occasions. Kira learned quickly, her superior mind absorbing information at remarkable speed. One evening, as they sat on the porch, watching sunset, Kate asked, so what exactly is your mission here? To learn about humans, assess if your species is ready for formal contact, establish preliminary protocols. Kira recited the official mission parameters, and then Kate prompted, and then, I return home to fulfill my duty to marry Prince Zorex, uniting our empire with the Centauri Alliance. Kate looked surprised. That's arranged, you don't get to choose. Kira tilted her head in confusion. Choose what purpose would choice serve? The match is optimal for genetic diversity and political stability. But what about love? Kate asked. Kira blinked several times. Love is a concept we understand academically, but do not practice. Bonding is for reproduction and social stability, not emotional satisfaction. Kate shook her head. That sounds lonely. Zelthorians are never alone. Kira said, we share a subtle neural connection with our people. I can feel the presence of others of my kind even now, though distant, but that's not the same as connection. Kate argued, real connection with someone who understands you, who sees you as you are. Kira considered this humans place such importance on individual connections. It is inefficient, yet intriguing. The following morning, Kate arrived early. We have plans today, she announced, smiling. I got permission to show you more than just this house and the official briefing rooms. You need to see how regular humans live. Kira felt an unusual sensation in her chest, something like anticipation, but stronger she had never experienced. An emotion this clearly before coming to Earth. Something about this planet was affecting her. They drove to the small town, and Kate parked on the main street. The place was busy with morning activity, people entering shops, greeting each other, children laughing as they walked to school. Kira absorbed everything, noticing details Kate might miss, the way humans touched casually, a hand on a shoulder, a quick embrace between friends, the varied expressions that crossed their faces: joy, surprise, annoyance, affection. The sounds of laughter and animated conversation. First stop, Kate announced the diner, best pancakes in the state inside. The small restaurant people sat at tables talking over coffee and food, the air filled with the smell of cooked meals and sweet syrup. Kira had never eaten in public on Zelthoria. Meals were efficient private affairs. They sat at a booth by the window, and Kate ordered for them both when the food arrived. Kira stared at the stack of pancakes covered in syrup and butter. Try it, Kate encouraged. It's amazing. Kira took a small bite. Her eyes widened as the sweetness hit her taste buds. Zelthorian food was nutritionally complete but designed without regard for pleasure. This was different entirely. This is Kate began but stopped when she saw Kira's face. Are you crying? Kira touched her cheek, feeling moisture. Impossible, she whispered. Zelthorians do not produce tears. Kate reached across the table, taking Kira's hand, gently. Maybe Earth is changing you a little, Kira quickly composed herself. This reaction is merely a physiological response to the disguise process. It will pass. But Kate could see something had shifted. Something important had begun. Over the next few weeks, Kate showed Kira small-town life, introducing her to experiences that most humans took for granted. But that amazed the alien visitor. They attended a local baseball game, where Kira watched fascinated as humans cheered and groaned with each play, their emotions flowing freely without restraint. They visited the town library, where Kira spent hours reading human literature, poetry, and love stories confused her the most. Why would humans create entire works about emotional states? Kate explained that understanding feelings was important to humans. It helped them connect. One afternoon, Kate took Kira to a music festival in the park. Local bands played while people danced on the grass. Children ran playing games. Families spread blankets for picnics. Couples held hands. Kira observed it all with growing curiosity. You should try dancing, Kate suggested as a slow song began. I do not know how, Kira admitted, just feel the music. Kate took her hands, guiding her in simple steps. Kira moved stiffly at first, her body unused to such movement, but gradually she found herself swaying naturally with the rhythm. Something strange happened inside her, a warmth spreading through her chest, a lightness she had never felt before. Is this joy, she wondered after dancing? They sat on a blanket under a tree watching people pass by. Kate noticed Kira seemed different, less rigid, more present. What are you thinking about? Kate asked. Your species. Kira replied. You live such short lives, yet you find time for activities that serve no evolutionary purpose. Dancing, singing, creating art. We eliminated these inefficiencies centuries ago. Kate laughed softly. Those inefficiencies, as you call them, are what make life worth living. Why live longer if you don't enjoy the time you have? Kira considered this. On Zelthoria, we value knowledge, advancement, expansion of our influence. These are worthy goals. And they are. Kate agreed. But without joy and connection, what does it all mean you advance for? The sake of advancing without stopping to experience the wonder of existence. That night, Kira sent her daily report to her father, but found herself omitting details about her emotional responses to human culture. Something told her these changes would not be welcomed by the High Commander. The following day, Kate took Kira to her family home for dinner. Kira's heart beat faster than normal as they approached the modest house. What if they noticed she wasn't human? What if she made mistakes? Kate's mother Linda welcomed them with warm hugs. Kira stiffened at the contact, then forced herself to relax, remembering human customs. Kate's father George shook her hand more gently than she expected. Kate's younger sister Megan asked endless questions about where Kira was from. They believe I am a foreign diplomat, Kate had created this cover story. Dinner was loud conversations, overlapped, laughter, erupted frequently. Food was passed around with casual offers. Want some more potatoes? Kira, try the green beans. Mom made them fresh from the garden, so different from the silent, efficient meals on Zelthorian ships. After dinner, they moved to the living room, where family photos covered the walls. Kate explained each one. This is when I graduated college. This is our trip to the beach last summer. This is when Megan won her science fair. You keep images of past events. Kira noted. Of course, George said that's how we remember the good times. Zelthorians record information, but not for emotional purposes. Kira explained. We have perfect memory. We do not need reminders. But it's not about needing them. Linda said, touching a photo of a younger Kate. It's about wanting to see them feeling connected to those moments. On the drive back to the safe house, Kira was quiet, processing the evening. Kate glanced over, concerned. Are you okay? Did my family overwhelm you? They can be a lot, no? Kyra said softly. They were kind. I have never experienced a family like yours on Zelthoria. Children are raised in education. Center's parents fulfill their biological role but do not maintain emotional bonds. That sounds. Kate searched for a diplomatic word. Empty. Kira finished the sentence, surprising herself. Back at the cottage, they sat on the porch looking at stars. Kira pointed to a faint blue one there. That is the sun of my system. Zelthoria is the third planet. Kate looked up, amazed to think your home is right there, visible from my world. How connected we all are without even knowing it. Connected, Kira repeated. The word humans use this term frequently. It seems important to you. It is, Kate said simply. Connection is everything. The next day, they visited the lake. Kate brought swimsuits. But Kira hesitated at the water edge. What if someone notices my skin is different when wet? No one is here, Kate reassured her. It's a private area. Slowly, Kira waded in. The sensation of cool water against her skin was pleasant. She moved deeper, then suddenly slipped on a rock. Kate caught her, their bodies close for a moment. Kira felt her heart's. Yes, Zelthorians had two beating faster than normal. It's okay. Kate smiled, still holding her. Just find your balance. They swam the afternoon away. Kira, discovering she enjoyed floating on her back, looking at the sky, feeling weightless, free from gravity and free from expectations. Later they sat on the shore, letting the sun dry them. Kate pointed to a small cabin across the lake. My grandparents built that place. I spent summers there as a kid. It is beautiful. Kira said, meaning it. Truly finding beauty in something was new to her. On her world, structures were practical, not aesthetic. We could go there sometime. Kate suggested, if you'd like. Kira nodded. Yes, I would like that. That night, Kira dreamed something that rarely happened. To her species, in the dream, she was dancing with Kate under stars that changed colors with the music. When she woke, she felt a longing she could not name. As days passed, Kira found herself looking forward to time with Kate, anticipating their next adventure. Her reports to Zelthoria became shorter, focusing on official observations, omitting the personal changes she was experiencing. One day, Kate took her to a small art gallery in town. Kira stared at paintings, trying to understand why humans would spend time creating images that serve no practical purpose. This one, Kate pointed to a landscape. What do you feel when you look at it? Feel, Kira repeated. I am supposed to feel something. Kate smiled gently. Art isn't about supposed to, it's about what happens inside you when you see it. Kira studied the painting, mountains with storm clouds gathering above, a single ray of sunlight breaking through. There was something about the contrast between light and dark that resonated within her. It makes me think of hope, she said quietly. Hope in difficult times. Kate looked at her with surprise and something else. Something warm. That's exactly what the artist titled it. Hope in darkness. Kira met her eyes. Did I get it right? You did. Kate touched her hand. Briefly, more than right. The contact sent a strange tingling up Kira's arm. Another new sensation to catalog, another change to hide from her father. That evening, as they walked through town, something unexpected happened. A small child, perhaps 5 years old, stopped in front of Kira, staring up at her. You look different, the child said with the directness only children possess. Kira's breath caught. Had her disguise failed? Different. How? Kate asked calmly. Pretty, the child answered, like from a story. Kira knelt down to the child's level. "Thank you," she said, feeling an unexpected warmth toward this small human. The child's mother apologized and hurried them away, but the moment stayed with Kira. Children on her world were trained from birth to be analytical. Observers, this child had seen something in her, something beyond logical assessment. Is that why humans value children? Kate, not just for continuation of your species, but for how they see the world. Kate nodded. Kids see truth adults miss. Sometimes, they haven't learned to filter everything through logic and social rules. That night, looking at herself in the mirror, Kira noticed subtle changes, her posture less rigid, her eyes showing emotions that would be unacceptable on Zelthoria. Was she becoming more human or simply discovering parts of herself long suppressed by her culture? Aboard the ship, Kira retreated to her quarters, ignoring Lara's concerned glances. She held the data crystal Kate had given her, wondering what it contained, wondering if she dared view it, knowing it would only make leaving Hardaris. The ship broke, atmosphere leaving Earth behind. Kira felt physical pain in her chest, her heart's aching with each beat, a symptom of the emotional contamination. Her father feared, no doubt, alone in her chamber. She placed the crystal in the reader and watched as Kate's image appeared. Kira, if you're watching this, then you've left Earth and are heading home. I wanted to say things I couldn't say in person. Things about what happened between us. Kate paused, her eyes full of emotion. On Earth, we believe that connections between people matter, that love is the most powerful force in the universe, stronger than duty, stronger than tradition. I know your people don't value these things, but I believe you came to feel them during your time here. Kara watched, transfixed, as Kate continued. I saw you change, Kira. I saw you discover joy and wonder and curiosity. I saw you question things you've been taught all your life, and that's not weakness. It's courage. Your father should know that the daughter he's raised is braver than anyone I've ever met, brave enough to open herself to new experiences, brave enough to feel. Kate wiped tears from her face. I want you to know that Earth will always be here, that I will always be here. If you ever find a way to choose differently, and if you can't, if duty calls you to another path, know that you changed me too. You showed me that there's so much more in the universe than I ever imagined, and for that, I will always be grateful. The message ended. Kira sat motionless, tears streaming down her face. Unchecked love. Kate had spoken of love. Was that this ache, this longing, this feeling that part of her remained on the blue planet, growing smaller behind them? A chime indicated they were approaching the jump point that would take them across light years and moments back to Zelthoria, back to duty, back to a life that now seemed empty of meaning. Kira made her decision quickly. Before she could reconsider, she copied Kate's message and added her own, then sent it, not just to her father, but to every communication channel on Zelthoria, a planetary broadcast that would reach millions. Father, people of Zelthoria, I have learned something on Earth, something our society has forgotten: the value of emotion, the strength that comes from connection, the power of choice. Humans are not primitive for embracing these things. They are wise. I cannot return to Mary without love. I cannot pretend I have not changed. Earth has awakened something in me, something true, and I will not abandon it even for duty. She ended the transmission knowing the consequences would be severe, knowing she had just committed an act of rebellion unprecedented in Zelthorian history. Lara burst into her quarters. Your Highness, what have you done? The High Commander is demanding explanation. Communications are flooded. I have spoken truth, Kira said simply. Something our people have forgotten how to do. The ship jolted violently, alarms blaring. Kira rushed to the bridge, finding chaos. The main screen showed 5 Zelthorian warships surrounding them. We are being locked in a tractor beam. Lara reported the High Commander has ordered your immediate return. Security protocols have been activated. Kira felt fear, but also strange exhilaration. She had made her choice. For the first time in her life, she had chosen for herself whatever came next. She would face it with the courage Kate had seen in her. The ship was pulled into the massive hold of the command vessel. Kira stood tall as the doors opened and guards entered. They escorted her not to the bridge as expected, but to a private communication chamber where her father's image waited larger than life on the screen. Kyra, his voice thundered across space. What madness has taken you? Your broadcast has caused chaos. Questions dissent, not madness, Father. Clarity, Kira replied. I have seen another way to live. You have been contaminated, he growled. The human emotions have infected your judgment. You will be purified upon return. Then the ceremony will proceed and, if I refuse, there is no refusal, he stated coldly. You are Zelthorian royalty. Your neural patterns will be adjusted to remove this contamination. If necessary, Kira felt cold horror. They would erase what she had become, return her to the emotionless state she had lived in before Earth, before Katie. You would change who I am without my consent, for your own good, for the good of our people. The High Commander insisted this human sentimentality is weakness. Then Kira stood straighter than ever before. I choose weakness over empty strength. I choose connection over isolation. I choose love. The word hung between them. Love, an ancient concept Zelthorians had abandoned centuries ago. Love, her father repeated with disgust, for a human, for a primitive species that will be gone in cosmic moments while we endure. Kira admitted freely, for a human, for Kate Mason, who showed me more about strength in weeks than I learned in decades. On Zelthoria, her father was silent for long moments. Finally he spoke. You disappoint me, daughter, but perhaps this human influence can be useful study. The emotional responses, document them for our scientists. Then return for cleansing. No, Kira said firmly. I will not be your experiment. I will not return to have what I value erased. I am requesting asylum on Earth. Asylum. The High Commander roared. Impossible. You are royal property of Zelthoria. I am not property, Father, Kyra corrected. I am a person with rights to choose my path. That is what humans taught me. Most of all, that even a princess has the right to determine her own future. The screen went dark. Her father cutting communication in rage. Kira stood in the silence, knowing the battle had just begun. Days passed as the ship remained in the command. Vessels hold Kira confined to her quarters. She felt the subtle vibration that indicated they were moving back towards Zelthoria, back to the arranged marriage, back to neural cleansing. She had one chance, one desperate plan, the emergency pod designed for diplomatic escapes in hostile territory. It would be noticed immediately. But perhaps the confusion would give her time to reach Earth, to reach Katie, accessing the secure panel hidden in her quarters. Kira activated the emergency protocols. The small voice of duty tried to stop her, reminding her of centuries of tradition, of expectations of her role in Zelthorian society. But another voice, stronger, now spoke of choice, of freedom, of love. The pod ejected silently from the ship sensors immediately. Detecting her departure alarms would be sounding throughout the fleet. Kira programmed the coordinates for Earth and engaged the experimental jump drive designed for emergency diplomatic escape. Space folded around her stars, blurring as the pod accelerated beyond normal physics. Kate, she thought, I am choosing, I am coming back on Earth. Kate sat by the lake where they had spent their last evening together. 2 weeks had passed since Kira left, 2 weeks of emptiness. Kate had returned to work, but found no joy in it. Her thoughts constantly with the silver-skinned princess who had returned to the star. A streak of light caught her attention. Something entering atmosphere fast, too fast for normal aircraft. It curved, changing direction, heading directly toward the lake. Toward her, Kate stood, heart pounding. Could it be? The small pod crashed into the shallows, water exploding upward, steam rising as hot metal cooled. Kate ran toward it. Heedless of danger, the hatch opened, slowly revealing a figure silhouetted against the setting sun. Kira stepped out, her natural silver skin shimmering, her purple eyes finding Kate immediately. You came back, Kate whispered, hardly daring to believe. I chose, Kira said simply, moving toward her. I chose you. I chose us. Behind them in the skylights appeared multiple ships entering atmosphere. The Zelthorian fleet had followed. A month into her stay on Earth, Kira received permission from her superiors to extend her mission another month. Kate celebrated by taking her to Kate's grandparents' cabin at the lake for a weekend away from official duties and monitoring. The cabin was small but comfortable, wooden walls lined with bookshelves, old photographs, and fishing equipment. A stone fireplace dominated one wall. Large windows faced the lake, offering views of water and trees. Kira ran her hand along a wooden table, feeling the grain. This was made by hand. Kate explained, my grandfather built most of the furniture here. Why not use fabrication units? Kira asked, puzzled by the inefficiency. Kate smiled because he enjoyed working with his hands. It gave him pleasure and meaning. Plus, when you make something yourself, you put part of your spirit into its spirit. Kira repeated another human concept that confused her. Zelthorians believed in measurable energy and matter, not spiritual essence. That night, Kate built a fire and they sat before it watching flames dance. Kira found the random movements of fire fascinating on her world. Controlled energy never moved so unpredictably, so beautifully. Kate brought hot chocolate and they wrapped in blankets, talking late into the night. Kira asked about Kate's life. Her dreams, her disappointments, learning that Kate had once hoped to be an artist, but chose government work for security and to help her family. What about you? Kate asked, what would you do if you weren't a princess? If you could choose anything? The question startled Kira. No one had ever asked her that before. On Zelthoria, roles were assigned based on genetic predisposition and societal need. Choice was irrelevant. I don't know, she admitted finally. I have never considered alternatives. Kate moved closer, their shoulders touching. We should figure that out. Everyone should know what makes their heart sing, another human metaphor. Kira smiled. She was learning to recognize these expressions that made little literal sense but conveyed emotional truth. In the morning, they walked the lakeshore, collecting interesting stones and watching birds. Kira noticed how Kate seemed fully present in each moment, not thinking about the past or future, but experiencing now something Zelthorians rarely did. Back at the cabin, Kate suggested fishing. Kira had never done this. Recreational hunting puzzled her, but she agreed to learn. Kate showed her how to bait a hook, cast a line, wait patiently. Kira caught nothing but found she enjoyed the quiet companionship, the gentle sound of water against the shore, the occasional splash of a fish jumping nearby. These sensations filled her with contentment. I like this place, Kira said as sunset painted the lake orange and pink. I feel peaceful. Here, Kate looked at her affectionately. That's why I wanted to bring you somewhere away from duties and roles, just to be Kira repeated. Yes, that is it exactly. I am not being a princess or a diplomat here. I am just being. That night they sat on the dock under stars. Kira pointed out her home system again, and others she had visited in her diplomatic role, telling Kate stories of strange worlds and civilizations. Kate listened, fascinated. What will happen when your mission ends? Kate asked. Finally, the question they had both avoided. I will return to Zelthoria. Kira said, duty requires it, and marry the prince he is. Kira confirmed, but found the words tasted bitter in her mouth. Do you want to? Kate asked carefully. Want has never been relevant. Kira replied, it is what must be done for my people. The Alliance will protect billions. Kate was quiet for a long moment, then said softly, but what about you? What about your happiness? Happiness is not a value in Zelthorian culture, Kira said, reciting what she had been taught since birth. But you feel it now, don't you? Kate pressed. I see it in your eyes when you discover something new. When you laugh. Kira could not deny it. Yes, I feel many things now. Things I should not feel, things that would be considered weakness at home. Kate moved closer, her hand finding Kira's in the darkness. And those feelings, are they weakness or strength? Kira looked at their joined hands, feeling warmth spreading through her. I no longer know, she admitted. All my certainties have become questions. They returned to the safe house the next day, both quiet, lost in thoughts. Neither wanted to voice the following morning. Kira received an urgent communication from her ship. Lara appeared on the secure screen. Kira, the High Commander, has detected unusual patterns in your neural scans. You are ordered to return immediately for evaluation. Has something happened on Zelthoria? Kira asked, keeping her face expressionless. No? Lara replied, but your father is concerned. Your scans show emotional activity above acceptable thresholds. He fears Earth contamination is affecting your judgment. Prince Zorex has arrived early for the bonding ceremony. Preparations, you must return. Kira felt cold fear, another new emotion. When 3 Earth days you will report to the landing site for extraction. The screen went dark. Kira stood frozen. Kate entered the room, saw her face, and knew something was wrong. What happened? I am being recalled. Kira said, her voice flat, using all her training to hide. The turmoil inside 3 days, then I must return. Prince Zorex awaits. Kate stepped closer, her eyes searching Kira's, and if you don't go, not going is not an option. Kira replied, my father rules 7 systems with absolute authority. Defiance would have consequences not just for me, but possibly for Earth. But Kate began, then stopped. She had no right to ask Kira to abandon her duty, her people, her entire life. Kira turned away. I should prepare my final reports for the next 2 days. Kira withdrew into herself, becoming more like the controlled Zelthorian who had first arrived on Earth, completing tasks with mechanical efficiency. Kate watched helplessly, feeling the distance growing between them on the evening before her departure. Kira asked Kate to take her to the lake one last time. They sat in silence, watching the sunset clouds reflecting on still water. I have decided to send a message to my father, Kate said finally. Kira looked at her, alarmed. About what? About us, about humans, about emotions and choices. Kate met her eyes. I want him to understand what you've learned here. What we've shared, it will not change anything. Kira said sadly, my path was set before my birth. Kate took her hand. Maybe not, but he should know what he's taking you from, what he's denying his people. That night Kate wrote long into the night. Kira watched her, wondering what words could possibly explain the transformation she had undergone. How could language capture the feeling of rain on her face, the taste of sweet food, the sound of music? The warmth of Kate's hand in hers morning came too quickly. Kira dressed in her Zelthorian uniform for the first time since arriving on Earth. The metallic fabric felt cold against her skin, restricting. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the stern face looking back. Kate drove her to the landing site, neither speaking what was there to say. Their worlds were separated by light years of space and centuries of different evolution. At the desert location, Kira sent the signal that would bring her hidden ship to the surface. She turned to Kate. I must thank you for your guidance, your patience, your... She hesitated. Friendship. Kate stepped forward, her eyes bright with unshed tears. Is that all it was? Kira. Friendship. Kira felt something breaking inside her. No, she whispered, it was more, but I have no right to name it, no right to claim it. The ship appeared, shimmering into visibility, its sleek silver surface reflecting the morning sun. Lara waited at the open hatch, her face showing disapproval at the emotional display. Kira straightened her shoulders, resuming the posture of a Zelthorian. Royal duty called, and she must answer. Kate pressed a data crystal into her hand. My message to your father. Perhaps he will listen. Perhaps he will understand. Kira took it, then impulsively pulled Kate into an embrace. Another human custom she had learned, another barrier broken. Goodbye, Kate Masonis. She turned to board the ship. Kate called out, Kira, wait, her voice breaking. Please don't forget Earth, don't forget what you felt here. Kira paused at the entrance to the ship. How could I forget, she thought, when Earth has changed everything? The Zelthorian ships hovered above the lake, their massive forms casting shadows across the water. Kate and Kira stood together, watching as a transport beam activated, hitting the ground nearby, materializing into the imposing figure of High Commander. Phyrexi was taller than Kira, his silver skin darker with age, his eyes deep violet, showing no emotion as he approached. Kira stepped forward, placing herself between her father and Kate. You defy centuries of tradition for this human, he said, his voice cold eyes. Father, Kira replied, because without choice duty is just slavery with a noble name. Varex looked at Kate, studying her carefully. You, he addressed her directly. You have corrupted a Zelthorian royal, turned her against her people. Her duty. Kate met his gaze without flinching. I showed her possibilities. I showed her she could feel and choose those errant corruptions, their gifts insolent. Varex raised his hand where a control device gleamed. Guards appeared around them, weapons ready. The humans nearby had noticed the ships now. Some were approaching, curious, others running in fear. Take my daughter, he ordered. The neural cleansing will begin immediately. Kira stood her ground. Father, listen to me, please. The emotions. You fear the connections. You dismiss they are not weakness, they are another kind of strength different from what we value. But no less powerful humans live briefly but fully. We live long, empty lives. What is the purpose of existence without meaning, without joy? Varix hesitated, something in his daughter's words reaching him. Kira continued, "You taught me to observe, to learn. That was my mission here, and I have learned this earth contains wisdom. Zelthoria has forgotten. Humans know how to love, how to create, how to find purpose. Beyond duty, they choose connections that give life meaning." Before Varix could respond, a fleet of human military aircraft appeared surrounding the Zelthorian ships. Kate recognized them as part of the secret government program that had arranged Kira's diplomatic mission. Her superiors had been monitoring the situation. A voice came over loudspeakers. "High Commander Varix, this is General Sharon Hayes of Earth Defense. We request peaceful dialogue." Varix looked up, assessing the primitive aircraft. "With dismissal, you cannot hope to match our technology." "Perhaps not," Kate said. "But we can offer something more valuable than victory in battle. What could you possibly offer the ruler of 7 systems?" "Partnership." Kira answered, "Genuine alliance, not based on dominance but exchange. I have seen Earth art, music, literature, philosophy. These have value. Father value. We have forgotten in our pursuit of technological advancement." More ships appeared in the sky, not military, but civilian news aircraft. Ordinary people gathering at the lake's edge, watching the historic first contact between humanity and an alien civilization. A woman pushed through the crowd, approaching. Despite the guards, it was Kate's mother, Linda. She stopped before the High Commander. "Unafraid, your daughter is amazing," she said simply. "She learned our ways, respected our customs, brought joy to my daughter's life. You should be proud, not angry." Varix blinked, surprised by this direct address from a common human. Kate's father, George, joined. "My wife is right. Your Highness, in our culture, parents want their children to find happiness, not just fulfill obligations." Others from town approached, speaking in turn, the diner owner, the librarian, families who had met Kira during her stay, each sharing stories of how the alien visitor had touched their lives, had shown interest in their ways, had connected. Kira watched amazed as humans defended her choice, their natural empathy, their willingness to stand together against a threat, their courage despite fear. This was what she had tried to explain to her father. This was humanity. Varix observed the gathering crowd, the loyalty Kira had inspired, not through command, but through connection. Something stirred in him, a distant memory from before Zelthoria had eliminated emotion, a memory of his own bonding ceremony centuries ago, when he had felt something for Kira's mother, something long suppressed. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "there is something to learn." "Here." Kate stepped forward. "High Commander, I gave Kira a message when she left. Did you see it?" He nodded. "It was broadcast planet-wide along with my daughter's declaration." "Then you know what I believe about connection, about love." Kate continued. "I don't ask you to abandon your ways, but to consider expanding them, to remember what your people once knew." General Hayes landed nearby, approaching with a small delegation. "We are prepared to discuss diplomatic terms," she said. "Formal recognition, exchange of knowledge, cultural ambassadors." Varix looked, from the general to his daughter to the humans gathered around them. Primitive yet complex, emotional, yet strong in those emotions. Unauthorized neural activity. Not weakness, but different strength. He made his decision. "I will postpone the marriage treaty," he announced. "Research teams will be assigned to study human emotion. The connection phenomenon may have applications we have not considered." Kira could hardly believe what she was hearing. "Father, you mean, you may remain," Varix said. "As cultural ambassador, continue your observations, report your findings on these human emotions." He paused, looking at Kate. "And this connection you have formed." Kira felt joy overwhelming her composure, breaking protocol. She embraced her father. "Thank you," she whispered. Varix stiffened, unused to physical contact, but did not pull away. "This too will require study," he said. But his voice had softened. The diplomatic meetings continued for days. Earth leaders and Zelthorian representatives establishing protocols for future contact exchange programs. Scientific cooperation. Kyra served as translator and guide, explaining human customs to her people. Zelthorian technology to the humans, but the most profound changes happened on Zelthoria itself. Kyra's broadcast and Kate's message had resonated with millions. Especially younger Zelthorians' questions arose about the suppression of emotion, about choice, about connection. Small rebellions flared. Discussions began, reforms were proposed. 6 months later, Kira received word that her father had established a pilot program allowing citizens limited emotional expression in controlled settings. The marriage treaty with Prince Zorex had been converted to a trade agreement without genetic bonding requirements. Kate squeezed her hand as they watched the sunset from their spot by the lake. What will you do now? Learn more, Kira smiled. Humanity has shown me that love is the most powerful force in the universe, and I have only begun to understand it. Kate leaned closer. What? About your royal duties, my father has named my cousin as heir. Kira said he agrees my diplomatic role here is more valuable to our people. I am free to choose my path. And what do you choose? Kate asked, her voice soft. This Kira answered, simply turning to face Kate. Her silver hands framing the humans face this moment. This feeling, this life with you. Their kiss was witnessed by stars, some belonging to Earth, some to distant Zelthoria worlds, no longer separate but connected through understanding, through diplomacy, through love. Among those stars, a new legend spread of the alien princess who chose love over duty, and in doing so brought freedom to her people. The humans had shared their greatest strength and changed an empire without firing. A single shot on both worlds' children learned the story of Kira and Kate of first contact, of how understanding between different beings could change civilizations for centuries. Zelthorians had believed emotions made them weak, but one princess discovered the truth. Emotions made them complete. The royal garden on Zelthoria now contained a single earth plant, a simple apple tree beneath it, a plaque bearing words from Kate's message to Kira, words that had begun a cultural revolution. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, stronger than duty, stronger than tradition, stronger even than the stars.